Many business owners get into business based on passion that starts at a young age, also inspiration from others around them. Vesta MacIntosh is the owner of Vesta Photography. Welcome to the Clarence-Rockland Guide.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Your inspiration for photography would be who?
I grew up watching my grandfather develop images through the dark room. So it was really neat to see that process. And he owned his own newspaper, which he did obviously his own photography for. And as a child, he would pick us up on like a Saturday morning, bring us to Vermont to deliver the newspaper, and then take us out to Wendy's after to say thank you. So it was a nice experience, a nice memory.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Méga, Quebec. I was born in Ottawa, but we moved there when I was a baby, and then I came back to Ottawa as a teenager. So
I imagine growing up there and also spending time in Vermont, I can picture landscapes and
yes.
so much inspiration when it comes to photography outdoors.
Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. As much as Magog is so beautiful to go visit, a very great touristy area. And Vermont, well, I don't need to say anything about Vermont. Everyone knows Vermont's gorgeous. But my heart is here in Ontario.
So growing up, being surrounded by business and also photography, did it hit you right away that you wanted to pursue photography, or did you go down different avenues before you reached where you are today?
I actually wanted to be a fifth grade teacher. So, as most teenagers, we go through life and kind of forget what we're supposed to be doing and want to be doing. So I came to Ottawa to Algonquin College and actually did media and communications for a semester. And the only class I attended was photography. I absolutely loved it. It was just kind of like a mind-blowing experience for me that there's all these neat things we can do through technology, and just learning about like triangle of light. And to me, it was amazing. And then I took a break from school to discover who I am. And that's when I met my husband, and we decided to move to Sudbury together to pursue our careers and education. So we went to Cambrian College together, where he did power engineering, and I actually went into early childhood education. And that's when I was like, you know what, I'm going to pursue this idea of wanting to be a fifth grade teacher. And then we had our daughter shortly after, so I opened up a home daycare for a while. And that's when I really discovered, I'm like, you know what, I really do like working with children, but not for 12 hours. And I like adults. And I want to do more creative work. And there was just a lot of like, and I want this and I want that. But I love working for myself. I haven't worked for anybody for over 10 years. I don't think I could. I'm very independent and like my own timelines and just having control. So when I was pregnant for my third child is when I was like, you know what, I want to do maternity pictures, but I don't want to pay for it again. So I'm going to try it on my own. And I took my Nikon, I don't remember what it was, with a really horrible lens on it, and did my own maternity pictures. I thought at the time they were gorgeous. Not so much. But that's when it kind of came into me that was like, you know what, maybe I should take this passion of mine that I've always had and turn it into a business. So here I am now, 5 years later, and still growing and still have many ideas to implement in my business, and I'm very excited about it.
I imagine technology has certainly changed your business compared to when you were taking pictures
In the dark room.
with your grandfather without computers and technology
Yeah.
to what we have now.
Yeah, he used to show me how he would do his like characters and like his printing. And it was like, he did it very old school, and I can still like, when I think of it, I can smell it. And it's a nice childhood memory of mine. So
What is it about maternity photos that you enjoy the most? Because when it comes to photography, the sky's the limit, right?
Exactly. There's a lot of creative work that can come behind it. So I do two types of maternity. So I do outdoor maternity, which is a lot of fun. However, it's become too easy for me. So I've started doing more studio maternity, which is a lot more difficult because then you have to come up with your own scene, come up with the picture in your head before you take it. So you know when you have that digital image, when you bring it to your laptop, what you're going to do with it. And you have to remember that too, because you got to make sure your lighting is where it's supposed to be and you have your fabric flowing the right way. And so it's sometimes can be more time consuming, but it allows for more creative movement and flexibility. And so I can do crazy things with it too, like changing my background, changing the color of the gown, and just striking an emotion in the image as well. Because I'm not just taking a picture to be like, oh, I'm gonna like do XYZ with it later, but I also want that emotion in it too, and that connection with mom and her new baby. It doesn't matter if it's her first baby or her sixth baby. This is a new pregnancy. It's a new moment, and it's really fun to have to get to know my client within the first like 5 seconds when they walk into my studio, to know their story, know how they're feeling about everything in their world, and just bringing it through on their images.
In your opinion, what's the difference between a black and white photo and a color photo?
That's a good question. It depends on the picture. So I do a lot of colored images, but there's some images that really need that black and white because it installs a different emotion. It's more deep, I find sometimes. Some of those details come out a lot more and can add this drama behind it as well. So.
What about photography? When a mother is about ready to give birth, you offer this service, which I find so admirable and unique.
So it kind of started when I had my first child. When I became pregnant for her, I was oblivious to the maternity world. I didn't know what my next step was. And my husband, being who he is and this big research guru, came up to me with all these options. And I was like, what? So, you have your OB and your midwifery, and then you have your other services that you can purchase, which is your doula care. And so when I gave birth for the first time, I'm thankful that I was actually in the process of doing my early childhood education. So I was learning about birth. You actually learn this because it plays a part in child development. And I was just like mind blown by the idea of how a human body, or a mammal's body, I should say, can just develop this innocent new being, and the way we bring this being into the world. And so when I was pregnant for my second, I decided that's when I'm going to pursue maybe a career in birth doula. So I did a course for it in Montreal, and I was so excited to do it, but then kind of reality hit in. I was like, well, how are you gonna do birth doula with 2 kids? And my husband at the time was working shift work, so it was really inconsistent, and I didn't have a lot of family support. So just being able to get up and leave wasn't quite an option. But now I'm at a point in my life where my husband's not in shift work anymore, so he's home more often. I have more support from family. So I now offer birth doula services with photography, and it is just such a beautiful environment to be in. Even though birth can be very traumatic and can be very scary, I like to think that I offer that extra support with making those moments more bearable and easy for mothers and parents to go through, because it's not just the mother, it's also their partner that's witnessing this too, right? So I try to make sure I'm helping through both their lenses, like their perspective of it. And at the same time, if they're asking for the service of photography, I capture those moments of support between the partners, the first moments they meet their baby, the first feed. I'm like getting goosebumps thinking of it. Mm-hmm. It is an intense moment and something we forget very quickly. Most of the time partners remember it, but as the birthing parent, you often forget what's happening like a month later, because that's what our body is supposed to be doing. And it's just nice to look back at the images, and I do video at the same time, and just relive those beautiful moments. I make sure I capture the beautiful moments, and then it just gives more, there's no words for it, honestly.
I imagine the doula side could also help the photography side, where You will put the mom, the dad, the partner at ease, keep them calm. And then when photography comes in, maybe the shots are more moving, calmer,
Yes.
more expressive.
Yes. So like I'll show the partner how to do hip presses for the birthing partner, and like it's called hip jiggles and different pain management. And so when I show the partner how to do this, then I step back and I take those images, and it's just such a beautiful raw moment of, you know, it's uplifting, it's empowering, and it brings this unknown connection that we don't know we have with people in our birth space.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite beautiful.
What other photography services do you offer?
So my next big one I love doing is newborn photography. It's a real hard toss-up between maternity, birth, and newborn. I would say they're very much like even with each other. But when I get a newborn in studio, I'm baby crazy. I would have a million children, but I know it's not it's not what I should do. But when I grab a newborn, they just melt in my hands, and I can almost feel what they need in those moments. So whether they have gas, need to burp, need to feed, a diaper change, and then just getting to manipulate them into different poses is just such a, it's like, I feel like I have no words for my work. I am very passionate about my work. It's a moment to be in. And when I have parents come and they're watching what I'm doing with their baby, a lot of them want to take me home. But they leave with new knowledge. They leave with more confidence as well. Even if it was, you know, their fifth baby. I've had many families with multiple children. They're like, I've learned so much today. And just, you know, giving them a memory in time that, because your baby changes every day. So it's nice to offer something like this to families.
Is there a certain type of photography that you're not a big fan of?
Weddings.
And why is that?
I know it sounds funny, but it's too stressful. Even though birth can be very stressful and lots going on all at once, I just find my heart, and I don't have that heart and emotion in with weddings. It's too busy for me. There's a lot more pressure. And I feel if my heart isn't in the work I'm doing, you can see that. And so I'd rather offer people where I know my heart is, so maternity, birth, newborn, and families, than where it's not, which is weddings.
Seems to be a smaller group, so you can offer more of a one-on-one contact, where a wedding
There's
is
too many
busy,
people.
stressful, so many people, so many emotions.
I like to get to know people. I think that's probably what it comes down to. I want to talk to people. I want to take my time and really build a connection. I think having that connection with families you're working with and understanding them is the key. And even though I know you could get that with a wedding, it's not the same. I get to see these families over and over again while their family grows, and they become a part of my family. So I always tell people, welcome to Vesta's photography family, because I will always remember you. I remember every baby, every maternity. And when they come back as their child grows or as their family grows, it's just, I just have a very large family now. I have a very large family.
You keep going back to family, but your family is involved in your business. You've mentioned before to clients that come into your studio, my children may be there. They're part of my business.
Yeah, so even though my children are always in studio with me when I am working with clients, right now they're not in studio. They're still a little young, but my daughter is looking forward to the day where she is old enough to come help me out and see exactly what I do during a session. But for the time being, they will come in when I don't have a client, and they'll like help me set up, they'll help me clean up. Like last night, my daughter came into my studio with me, and she helped me disassemble my lighting, get my camera gear together. And then coincidentally, one of her friends was walking by, and she got so excited to drag her friend into my studio and show her my place. And then it gave an opportunity for me as well to get to know her family. So my daughter's friend's family, and they were like, we didn't know you were here. We didn't even know this was what you were doing. And then when I got home that night, they ended up booking a family session with me through my online portal. So I'm excited to get to know them.
For people that don't know where are you and how do they get a hold of you?
So I'm actually located beside M&M Meats on Laurier Street in the plaza there. I've been there for about 2.5 years now. And most people can get a hold of me through Facebook, Instagram, or through my website and email address, which is Vesta's Photography.
Vesta MacIntosh from Vesta Photography, thanks for being on the Clarence-Rockland Guide.
Thank you very much.